Hey, this is Josh Thompson. Thanks again for listening. If this content is encouraging to you, it would mean the world to us if you would rate the podcast. Your rating will help more people find the show. You can also journey with us by subscribing to our channel. And if you share it on social media, please feel free to tag me and our guests. We appreciate when you share this podcast with those you know. We are believing it will continue to stoke the fire in people again. Special thank you to Landmark Coffee Roasters, a sponsor for this podcast. If you haven't tasted their coffee, you got to go check it out. They got the best beans in Southern California. Go to landmarkroasters.com. Type in promo code STOKEHOUSE to get 20% off. That's landmarkroasters.com. Special thank you to Ola Canvas, a sponsor for this podcast. They build super durable, high-quality clothing out of Costa Mesa, California. Ola Canvas is a small business of creators making some of my favorite clothing and products on the planet because they take time to build each piece and make it with high-quality material. Check them out at olacanvas.com. That's O-L-A canvas.com. Welcome to the Stoke House. Time to get fired up. Yee! Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Ives and Jakob Thomas in the Stoke House. Hey, guys. Jake, if it's okay, ladies first. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Mary, you are a singer-songwriter,
Yes.
musician, and artist. You just released Hibiscus, your latest EP, May of this year. Amazing work. If you haven't listened, go check it out. You also have a side project, Saint Evaleen. Is this right?
Yes.
And you put out some new songs January this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do it all, from the stages in LA to leading worship in stadiums with Harvest Worship.
Yeah.
Mary, you have that voice that when you sing, I think the angels come and sit in the audience to listen.
Oh.
I do. I really do. You got it. And you got that superpower of being able to move people with your voice and song, so please keep doing it.
Oh, thanks.
Jake, you are a musician and producer, and you are that electric guitar player that every band always wanted. It's true. Everybody loves Jacob. With some of your recent work, you were on tour with Phil Wickham for a while. You also, of course, play with the Harvest Worship Band for many years. You stood in stadiums and stages, playing for massive crowds. Jake, you somehow have always had that killer tone and some of the coolest gear around and some of the smoothest style. This is true. If you give me one touch of that rock star pixie dust, I'd be on level 10, no doubt. You both grew up at Harvest Church with Greg Laurie, played on worship teams for decades, really. You guys have been playing since you were kids, really. You guys have played with some of the most talented musicians and bands on the planet that have come through these venues. I mean, you both have incredible parents and family, whom I love. And you guys are married.
Yes.
Yes, you are. You're married how long?
Almost 7 years.
7 years. Awesome. What I love most about you guys is you're just kind, fun, warm people who love those around you well. Everybody can see that. And you both have these rock star abilities, but you hold humility and good vibes in the other hand, to which I'm grateful. Been super excited to have you guys on the show, Mary and Jake. Welcome to Stoke House.
Thanks for having us,
That was
Josh.
beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Can we get some tissues?
So we met, I don't even know when we met actually, but I've known you guys, and we were just talking since you guys are real young.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake's probably 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mary's probably
Single digits.
7, 8, 9, somewhere in here. Unreal.
I know. It's crazy.
I'm old, man. I feel young, but yeah. And you guys grew up playing in the church
Yeah.
at Harvest, and I guess my first memory is seeing you guys do the youth bands, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of where it all started?
Definitely. That is where it began.
Playing. This is probably This is when the junior high band. This is probably where it started, right?
Mm-hmm. At least for me. I
Yeah.
don't know about Jake.
Yeah.
Jake,
I think I started in the high school band.
high school band,
Yeah.
yeah. But I felt like these bands had a turn. Like, it's funny when you look at the evolution of the bands, right? So you got like, you got. Can I go there? You got
Yeah.
Steve Welburn. You got Gabe, punk rock. MX Prex rocking out Commonwealth, right? Then it evolves to kind of like these other bands show up, kind of like a progression of musicians. You got the Summers Boys, and you got Ransom, and you got these guys showing up, divided by 13, and all the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have this new young band that shows up. You guys, you guys and Zach and the
Yeah.
crew show up and start kind of taking over. And we saw a musicianship level just go, I think, to the next level. It was pretty incredible to watch. So you guys grew up doing this.
Yeah.
Lots of worship and playing. And those reps, I mean, wouldn't you agree that as a musician, like that kind of rep, just week after week,
Oh, yeah.
practicing kind of like grows you quickly?
Totally. I mean, like you talk to a lot of musicians here in LA. A lot of them grew up at church, and
Wow.
a lot of them grew up, maybe they're not still going or whatever
Sure.
for whatever reason. But yeah, church is the best place to learn your craft and to get better at being in a band and understand what that's like, because the pressure is really low, Like, it's funny to hear you talk about all those people that played, like the Summers Boys,
Yeah.
Jason Ransom,
Yeah.
all them. Because, like, I'm a little bit younger than Jake, and that was Jake's, like, that's where he began with Gabe and with you and stuff like that, at the Well or whatever. But for me, like, I started in junior high, and so I didn't see any of those people because I was too young. And so my experience was just like some random old guy with like a guitar that doesn't have a pickup. It's just like close mic'd, and he's like yelling at us for being like, "Why aren't you guys singing?
Right.
You guys gotta sing." Or like, we're talking or whatever, and he's like in the middle of a song.
Right.
Like, "Hey, stop talking.
Right.
We're worshiping."
Right. Oh, I love
That was
it.
junior high worship back in the day.
Oh, I
So
love it.
the bar was pretty low.
Yeah.
We love the faithfulness of
Yeah.
an old man being there and being willing to do that.
Well, he probably wasn't even that old.
True. Yeah,
You were just really young.
that's true.
It's probably like 40.
Right. No, totally. That's it.
Super old dude playing worship.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm thinking of one guy in particular, and he was so sweet. I don't remember what his name was, but he had some gray hair, and he was definitely older. I think that he was probably in his 50s. God bless him.
No, but that's
being there.
that's what's funny though, is like I remember being 18 and literally looking at like 40-year-olds and being like, this dude's old, He's like up there. He's like and now that's me, So I like try to like,
How the tables turn.
yeah, I try to trick the young kids into thinking I'm young, but they have no idea. But no, I remember this. Even Ricky and Rand stepped on, I think, Day 7 stage with Gabe a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed in some, in Oach and all the guys, of course, Bjorn and just everybody playing. But we saw this, I don't know, I think your dad, really training up, trying to train up all these different worship teams and all the rotation of worship teams taking place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, I'm just banging on a guitar, wishing I could play with you guys, and I always tell Hans, I'd be like, I'm ready, put me in, coach, whenever you're ready. No, I was always joking with him because I just knew I'm good over here, like one day. I always was admiring from a distance, just like these guys, from a young age, you guys are getting after it and really making it happen and took it serious, You were just like, you know what? We're going to practice. We're going to work on our craft. We're going to bless the Lord with it. We want to bless the church with it. And again, it's amazing now, you guys say 7 years in LA and just to see what God has done in your life. So do you remember when you started, do you remember your first note? Do you remember your first guitar? Do you remember your first kind of moments of playing? Yeah,
Definitely. The first person to actually give me like opportunity to sing was Raymond Gregory.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ray.
Shout out to Ray.
Very
Love
cool.
Ray. And so I sang with him at in the Dome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyone
The
listening
Onion?
remembers
Yeah.
the Dome
Right.
at Harvest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sang at the Dome, and I sang Hosanna. That was the first song that I ever sang.
Uh-huh.
And but before that, I was not really. I mean, I've always been kind of outgoing. Like I was an outgoing, like quirky little kid. But when it came to like playing music or anything like that, I was a little shy. And so I remember doing like a junior high talent night kind of a thing, playing like some piano piece. I didn't sing like because I don't think I was really like at the time. I wanted to be like a piano player. Like I wanted to go full in on that.
So you grew up playing piano.
I did, yeah.
When did you start?
I think I was maybe like 6.
Okay,
7.
wow.
I was pretty young. I did it because my sister did it, and so I
Ellie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Ellie.
Shout out to Ellie.
And So was this on a proper upright piano, or did you play keyboard, or?
Yeah. So when I was growing up, we had like it was some kind of like Wurlitzer, like upright,
Yeah.
kind of small, like nothing fancy.
Yeah.
And that's where I was first learning. And then, actually, funnily enough, there used to be a baby grand, Yamaha baby grand in the fellowship hall at
remember
Harvest.
that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
and I don't know why, but the church like was getting rid of it, and I think that my dad was just like kind of vying for it, like because that would be really cool for
Sure.
at the time. Both of his daughters were learning and playing,
Totally.
and so over time, that's the piano that I was really learning on. But then when I first started like playing, like had an interest in playing outside of my house or whatever, I was playing my dad. I think he might still have it. It's a Korg Triton. Think of any like 80s ballad.
Yeah.
It's the Korg Triton.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's like the kind of tinkly piano sound with like some nebulous choir happening in the background.
Yeah.
That's the sound.
Oh, that's great.
So I was playing that in like, junior high or whatever, in the first bands that we were playing in.
Did you do lessons? Did your parents put you in lessons? Are you classically trained, or you learned to read music and the whole thing?
Yeah, to this day, I'm really not good at reading music.
Yeah.
I was always a lot better at like someone would show me
Sure.
and then I would memorize it.
Yep.
And I still think that is the case.
Totally.
Like every so often when I go over to my parents' house, they still have that baby grand. I'll pull out like some, sheet music that's still there or something, and I'll like it takes me a while.
Sure.
It's kind of like reading a different language where you're like you have to kind of sound it out and count F A C E.
Yeah.
Okay, it's right there. So I'm not great at it, but I can read music.
No, I'm fascinated because my Eden, she's 6 years old, and it's like it's time. Like I literally been looking at pianos, so it's like we're gonna put it upright in the front room, and
so fun.
well, Sarah was looking at some Baldwin's, Yamahas, and Steinway and Sons. Like I'd love to get my hands on one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm fascinated in the process, because I, of course, want her to win, in learning, and I want her to grab onto it. But I don't know. Was it mandatory for you, or did you? Was it just like you're going to learn piano, or was it just like, is that what you want to do? And you're like, yeah. And so they're just like, here's a teacher.
I think that was kind of more the vibe that I was so young, and my watching my dad play music and stuff. My whole family is very musical.
Got it. So everybody plays and sings.
Yeah, everybody. And so I think it was just like a desire that I don't ever remember being pushed into it. I remember my dad, he tried to teach me guitar for like a hot minute, and every time I would cry, not because he was mean or anything, but he'd be like, "You can do it, like just try," and I'm like, "I can't."
Right.
So that didn't really work out. So I had a teacher, and a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, did your dad like teach you how to play or teach you how to sing?" And I'm like, "Not." Yes, like he taught me a lot from just watching him, but he was never like. He never put on the pressure to do music or it was just a natural progression, I suppose.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jake, you picked up your first guitar.
So
Where did music begin with Jake?
my family's they're not musicians, but there's always been like a deep appreciation of music.
Totally.
My parents like went to the US Festival in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely they were on like the hair metal.
I can see Richard and Terry fully rocking out in the crowd.
Totally.
There's some amazing pictures.
Yes.
My dad in like short cut off shorts.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's really great. I wish I had some to put on the screen.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
hilarious.
Creepy
Send
stash.
it over. Dave will put it up. Richard.
He posts them on Instagram, so he's not ashamed. But so they loved music. So I grew up listening, like originally it was kind of like no secular music in the house.
Sure.
And I think that was just like a side effect of my parents kind of like doing a 180.
Yeah, totally.
And, becoming Christians and.
Which most people do. Yeah.
And so like slowly that tapered a little bit. And they started getting excited, like, oh, like this is the music we used to like. My dad's a huge Beatles fan and like huge Zeppelin fan. So a lot of that growing up. And then do you remember when we were doing the Monday nights at the Grove in Anaheim?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we were down there. I remember.
Yeah, I would go with my parents all the times, like
Yes.
11, 12. And one week my dad was like, hey, like, do you want to play guitar? He's like, Lauren Ferrard is teaching guitar lessons.
Wow.
Is that something you'd want to do?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Shout out to Lauren.
sure. Yeah, for real. Like, and so they got me a guitar, like a $100 Yamaha acoustic,
Oh, I love it.
and did some lessons and just like immediately like latched onto it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was good at it. Like, yeah, it was kind of crazy because like I never did sports.
Mm-hmm.
I never did any sort of music stuff. Like I always loved art. But never
He's a
like
really good artist. Like he's he can.
yeah, I
Drawing,
never
paint.
Huh?
Drawing, paint, pastels, pencils.
He makes miniatures,
Huh.
but he's also a talented. Like he draws really well.
I just love anything art related.
Yeah.
Like that's what I gravitate towards
Got it.
all the time. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I have way too many hobbies.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about how you were remodeling your house over COVID. I was learning how to build little tiny houses.
Yes. Jake,
So
I
I was
love it.
productive.
Not tiny houses on the back of like trailers that you pull around. We're
Right.
talking
Nope.
miniature,
Yeah.
tiny models.
Yeah.
Bought a 3D printer.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he's really good at it. And
Yeah, so
paint them and stuff.
yeah, so I loved art growing up, A+ in art class. Didn't do any math homework, so Fs in
Right.
all my normal classes.
Right. So full creative.
Yeah. Yeah, just like not because I couldn't learn. Like I would pass tests and whatever. It was just like I'm not going to do homework. I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I want to do.
Right.
And that got worse when my parents got me that guitar. Because it was like
Consumed you.
I'm going to practice guitar for 8 hours. I'm not going to do math homework.
Yeah.
It's never going to be useful to me.
Right.
Now I'm like, I probably should have done a little homework. But yeah, so they got me the guitar. Lauren gave me lessons for like 6 months, I think.
So
And he
cool.
was just doing lessons to fund
Sure.
a guitar purchase.
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember his green telly.
I do.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
the guitar.
Iconic.
Yeah, he like did guitar lessons,
Oh no way!
bought
I
the
didn't know
telly,
that.
and was like, all right, I'm done with lessons.
When I
That-
think of Lauren, that is like
Yeah.
what comes to mind. is that
Exactly.
telly.
I
Like,
picture
that's-
the guitar before I picture his face.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's like his profile picture forever is that guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like embedded in his hand, like you can just see him. Yeah. So cool. So Lauren, you took lessons with Lauren, and that kind of. How old are you around? Are you junior high?
I was 12.
12. Wow.
So 11, 12. So I was 6th grade going into junior high. And then, yeah, my academic life just kind of tanked because it was like, my parents were like, oh, do you have any homework? No, I did it all. And then I'd go in my room, just like play all night. And, learning Zeppelin records. And
Wow.
I think I learned every Zeppelin record front to back. One year, it's just like, I'm going to learn every song on these records.
So was Lauren teaching you? Did he teach you chords? He's teaching you scales? He's teaching you any theory?
No theory. He basically just taught me worship songs.
Yeah. Okay.
Really easy
fa-
way to learn.
Yeah. Foundation of worship songs, and just because you're hearing that all the time, and so it's just like I'm going to learn how to play that, and if I can learn it, that's the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
Well, it's funny because he gave this like questionnaire before we started lessons, and it was like, like what kind of music do you like, whatever. And like me being church kid,
Sure.
was like, oh, he's like the worship guy, so I'm not going to put anything like
Sure.
secular on there or whatever.
Right.
So I put all these Christian bands, and so he's like, okay, like I guess I'll just teach you Christian music. When he's like huge Zeppelin fan,
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
it would have been super helpful if he wouldn't have felt like, oh, I can't do secular music.
Yeah.
So he would teach me like, Lord, I lift your name on high. And that's how I learned like my basic G, C, D, E minor chords. And I was like so into it that like he'd teach me something, I'd go home, just practice like crazy, and then come back and have like mastered what he taught me. And we were supposed to do 3 lessons of this. And he's like, okay, I guess I got to come up with like a new lesson plan. And so he would just like constantly give me new stuff, and I would go home and just like dive in and just like, you know, till my fingers were bloody, and I loved it. And I'd never loved anything like that, like a hobby or a skill, anything. Because like, you know, I liked art, fine,
Sure.
but I wasn't like drawing for 8 hours straight. And this was like, I can't stop. I can't put this thing down. And so I did that, and I played in my room for years, just learning records, just kind of front to back punk records and classic rock and whatever I could get my hands on, trying to like do these metal guitar solos that my fingers weren't ready for.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to learn
hardcore bands.
Yeah. So that was later.
Yeah. So you pick up this guitar, you've taken some lessons, and you're just tabbing out like everything you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
And learn all this stuff. So you're basically learning through listening and basically just working on your fingers, working on your tone, working on, you know, trying to mimic what you're hearing through these albums. And that's kind of honing your craft, right? Yeah, interesting. But there's one small thing in there that sticks out to me is this determination, you know, to like learn the piece, because, you know, it's very easy to get frustrated with your fingers. You know, it's like you telling your fingers to do something. My brain is telling them they won't listen to me. You know, it's like, stop that, you know, like do what I tell you. And you got to be stubborn, right? I mean, you have to you got to keep digging in order to get your, you know, that muscle memory to kick in.
Yeah.
And that
I mean, it hurts when you first start playing.
Right.
You know, you're pushing your fingers against
Where'd you
metal.
get this drive? Is this in your parents? Where you get this kind of drive and focus?
I don't know, because I still don't have it anywhere else. It was just this like one thing.
Yeah.
And now like trying to find the drive to do anything.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. We're at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know where it came from. You know, my dad's business owner, like kind of self-made contractor.
Yes.
My whole life and doing like beautiful homes and all this stuff. And now he's a pastor. But so like, you know, I watched him, I guess.
He's a hard worker. Your whole family is.
I mean, he had to go, if he didn't find work,
right,
then we wouldn't eat.
Right.
So he was constantly
making it happen.
Yeah. All on his own. And so maybe there was something there.
Totally. Yeah.
Me.
That determination and focus. Maybe you've taken on some of those traits.
Yeah.
Very cool. And push it into your guitar playing.
Yeah.
So you guys, do you remember the first time stepping on stage? And wait, we should rewind. You guys, did you guys know each other when you were young? That you guys are both on campus at Harvest, but did you guys actually know each other?
Yeah, I think we did, like maybe vaguely, or knew of each other. I do remember like he has a story that like, do you remember Musicians Network?
Sure.
So
I went.
Yeah. So I mean, I was always there, of course, because my dad was there, and I think he would show up sometimes. And because of our age difference, he's 5 years older than me. You know, like we didn't obviously connect until I was much older. We were just running in different circles.
Sure. Totally.
And so he tells a story that he remembers me like getting up on stage and like being goofy with my dad, and I'm probably like 10 or 11, and he's like, "Who's this annoying little girl?"
Right.
No, I thought she was hilarious. I was like, man, she's a funny kid.
Yeah.
Just a goober.
Yeah, just like no shame and just like kind of like a ham.
Yeah.
And
definitely a ham.
And so we didn't we saw each other there, like Musicians Network. I would see her with Hans, and and when I started playing guitar, it was like Hans is like the hero.
Totally.
That's who you aspire to be.
The gold top.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like ripping solos and just so cool, and always had the cool hair.
Yeah.
Still does.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Yeah. So it's like,
Hans, donation. Take a donation.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll even take your donation, Hans. You got lots, man.
He just have
that horse mane. Yeah.
Dude, I was there when you shaved your long hair off.
Yeah. It never came back.
I know.
Jake, that was it.
I think about that.
Oh, man.
Should have never done high school kids shave your head.
Oh, dude. I can't believe I did that. Never came back.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It was for the bit.
It was. We did win that year, so it was
committed.
It was for amateur hour, and we won the gig. Basically, in a nutshell, it was I challenged everybody in the room. I said to the girls, I said, if any of the girls will do what I'm about to do right now, we'll give you the trophy.
Yeah.
It was amateur hour at camp.
Did anyone do it?
No, no, the girls said they were going to do it, so they came on stage like they were going to, and we did this bit where we did this skit thing, and then we had a barbershop quartet come up, and the guys started snapping, right, and they were all in sweaters, and then I sit down. And then all of a sudden the clippers come out and they're just like, brrr, and they shave my head in front of all the kids and they're like, they're going crazy. And then the girls are like, we're not doing that, so.
Imagine being, hey, more power, if you're a girl shaving your head, more power to you.
Right.
Whatever. But imagine being a parent.
Right.
And then you send your, have fun at Christian camp.
Right.
Hope you connect with the Lord. And
Yeah.
they come back, no hair.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Yeah, one of the girls is like, I'm going to beat you, and she actually walks up on stage, starts shaving her head. We're like, no!
I'd be so impressed.
Yeah.
I'd be very impressed.
I mean, that's probably the least of what happened at those camps.
Yeah.
Kids came back with broken arms and
yeah.
concussions.
Totally. Yikes. Yeah.
Those were wild times.
Yeah. So Musicians Network, Hans Ives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's inspiring. Jake's working on his guitar playing.
Yeah, so Mary, was just Hans's daughter, and she also had the crazy hair. Mm-hmm. They were like the hair family.
That's right. Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she was that we weren't friends. We weren't hanging out. I wasn't really playing on the worship team yet. So we didn't get to play music together. But then, so I played in my room for 4 years, just 8 hours a day just in my room, not doing homework. And
you got your 10,000 hours in your 4 years.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Probably could have put it to something that would make so much more money. But so I did that. And then I think when I was 16 or 17, I was like, I'm going to audition for the worship team. And back then, nowadays, it's you audition, it's oh, do this Phil Wickham song.
Right.
It's pretty straightforward.
Right.
Back then, the songs were insane. The chords I had to learn, I didn't even know what they were.
Right.
And I still don't. Some of them were, I'm like, why was that even in that song?
Right.
It's there's too many notes. So,
Tommy Walker's.
Totally.
There was Tommy Walker songs. Each song.
Some Han songs too.
Right.
Yeah.
Each song that we had to learn was had some sort of difficult gimmick to it. Mm-hmm. And it was if you can do this, then you can do anything. Mm-hmm. So I actually called Lauren up, hadn't done lessons with him in years, and I was like, hey, you got to teach me how to read charts. You got to teach me what these chords are. Mm-hmm. And so he did. We did a couple lessons. He went over all the songs with me. Went up, auditioned on acoustic guitar, because I didn't really have electric stuff.
Sure.
And there's this one song called You Have Purchased Us. Mostly a piano song, craziest chords, a chord every beat. And it's D minor over F, sharp 5, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best to do it. And Hans at the end was basically oh, well, that was the Mount Everest, and thanks for attempting it.
Yeah.
Kind of
right.
We didn't expect you to do amazing at that.
Right.
But thanks for trying.
Yes. Yeah.
And but he was you're good, and we want you on the team, and kind of put me on acoustic guitar, shadowing different worship leaders at small things. And then I told Gabe, hey, I made the worship team, and Gabe was okay, you're on electric guitar this Wednesday.
Nice.
And I was and so my dad and I went to Guitar Center, bought pedals, didn't know what any of the pedals did.
Gabe just throw you in, dude.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Trial by fire.
Oh, I love it.
Gabe, I owe Gabe a lot.
Shout out.
If he wouldn't have done that, I don't think I would be playing electric guitar.
Gabe did it for a lot of guys, man. He would just be just show up.
Yeah.
Just play. You're sitting. He had me on bass one time, dude. I'm just does this sound okay? Is it working? You're good, dude. I'm thanks.
Yeah. So awesome. He just wanted to build people up and wanted to give opportunity. And there's a lot of grace in the church. Mary was saying,
totally.
You can suck at your instrument, and people are just like, oh, like you're just serving the Lord, and like we love your heart or whatever, out doing music in LA,
right?
You get one mistake,
Totally,
maybe,
right,
or you look weird that day,
right, right,
you're out,
right.
So yeah, like a lot of grace, a lot of room to learn, and then Harvest is special just because every musician and worship leader is 10 times a musician as you are, and so
totally, man, it's
constantly something like a goal to get to, like a hurdle to jump over. So
it's special.
Yeah,
it's a special place. Even like being away for 10 years now, and you look back and you just see it. It was and is kind of a unique ecosystem.
Yeah.
That builds incredible people.
for sure.
Unbelievable. Look, we got all our problems on the inside. Everybody does, right? But man, does it just builds quality, amazing people. And even on the musician side, like, I mean, the musicianship, the level of playing, and like you said, Jake, I mean, it's such a great point, just the level of grace that people have for you. Even if you don't get it right, it's okay. But it's like, it's so nerve-wracking to go into a session here, in LA or something, and try to show up and they're just like, Matt, we're not working with you ever again, and it's like, but it's like there, you mess up, you're going to get another chance. You get another chance. And I mean, Hans will let you try out for years, You're just like, you just keep trying out. Like, you just got infinite tryouts.
Yeah.
It's like American Idol.
Yeah.
Try again next year.
Yeah. And you can just keep getting better. And I've seen so many musicians, man. I mean, played with them too. And it's just just all the things they couldn't figure out for so long. And all of a sudden they just hone their craft, and boom, they become incredible, excellent musicians.
Yeah.
Mary, you grew up in this.
I did. Yeah.
This is your dad.
It is. Lots of pressure.
So, but you guys, I mean, it's almost, you guys were, I mean, many would say like destined, to like, stand on the stage and sing. And I don't know, I think everybody cheers and claps for it, because it's like, it's such a win for the Ives family, for all of you guys to be singing and playing and doing all of that. And then like, like, of course your dad would want that.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
He would want you to get on the piano. He would want you to start singing. But you must have eventually stepped on the stage at some time. You said you're singing Hosanna in the Onion or the Dome. There at Harvest with Ray. Is that right?
Yeah, with Ray.
And then did you just step into a band after that and start getting reps? Like what happened?
Yeah. So that was kind of my first like worship experience. And around that time, maybe like a couple years later, this is actually like good lore about both Jake and I. A couple years later, like I had started singing. I got a lot more comfortable. I wasn't playing like keys yet in a band. I was still just like fully doing the classical thing at home and, doing my recitals and stuff like that. But I had an interest in it, and I would like take, I'd take charts from my dad and like learn, just kind of like teach myself how to read a chart or whatever. And then I was also like interested in learning songs, like I remember like trying to learn Death Cab for Cutie songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like getting the tabs online and stuff like that. So I was interested in playing and like being, like pushing myself to do more than just sing. And at the time, Zach Esposito was also playing with me. It was like me, him, Ray, and then a couple other guys like Tim DiGirolamo.
Yeah, Tim D.
Yeah.
He's great.
And so we were all playing together. And then at the time, one of our friends, Jake Tittle, who the Tittles grew up going to Harvest too, they wanted to start a band, and Jake wanted to be a part of it too. And so all of us got together and we started this band called Sunset Pilgrims.
Yes.
And so it was me.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I know. We talk to him about it all the time.
I might hit.
Should we do a reunion show?
Yeah, so I love it.
We wanted to be Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
Yeah.
So it was Jake Tittle and his brother Sean who played accordion.
Yes.
And then I would sing and play keys, and then Jake would play guitar, and Zach was playing bass, and then there was another guitar player and drums and stuff.
Way too many people.
Yeah, it was like a huge band.
So fun.
So that was kind of our first like band experience, like outside of, like I don't know. It was interesting because like at the time, I think there was like that expectation of, like, oh, well, you're Hans's daughter, like you should be singing and doing worship and stuff.
Right.
But I actually really appreciate that, like, my dad never put that pressure on me to be like, you're only allowed to like sing Christian music, or you're only allowed to like do the worship thing. Like there was a level of support that I cherished looking back. Like my parents would show up to all the gigs, and they would just support in that way. And so I really appreciate that. It was like, just do whatever you want. Like go do the band thing, like play, we would go and like rehearse in our friend's garage and like make all kinds of noise. And like I would use my dad's Korg Triton, like I said, and I used his keyboard stand, which I still have, that I stole from him, and I've had it ever since.
Nice.
And he had like these Yamaha like NS10s or something that were like super crusty and old because I didn't have anything else. Like plug into those, like borrow his mics and stuff. So he was like, he never like, I don't remember him ever like pushing me into it, but he was definitely like a huge support system looking back, just like providing me with all kinds of advice and
that is
and
like
the gear.
so valuable.
Yeah.
To have that support system.
Yeah. And the support to do whatever you want to do, not necessarily like support in, you're not feeling it anymore, like you should stop, but also not support in like, you must do this. It was just like a really steady, consistent, which I mean, I think that's just kind of a part of his character. Yeah. He is very steady, very consistent, just like the most even keeled person. He was just like always, whatever you need, and I'll be there, like to help you out. Yeah.
No, yeah, you guys both, you both pointed that out. I think it's interesting that Richard, could see it in his boy and say, hey, you want a guitar? You want to try that?
Yeah.
You could see the creative and at least offer, and then again to step in and just be there.
Yeah.
I think being there, I'm listening obviously through parents' ear as well. Like I want this win for my kids so bad.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that dad, who's like, you got to show up for softball practice, I want them to want it, I want them to want music. I want them to love music like I love music.
Right. Yeah.
I want them to go to concerts and just, you know what I mean? Just soak in, and just enjoy what God has done in music, and I would love for them to play. I want to jam with them one day, Me and my family, we all jam around holidays. We get together, my dad pulls out all the gear, and we just throw down everybody's annoyed, because we're jamming the whole time. But I love it. It's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I want them to have that blessing. But for both you guys as parents to be consistent like that, just loving you guys and then lightly supporting and, not like, it's a hard lesson, because sometimes we want kids to go in the way that we want them to go, and we want to force them in that direction. But to open our hands and just say, like, and I guess even discover what they their gifts, presents given to us that we open up and discover, instead of like, I'm going to force you into this lane. You're going to be who I want you to be. It's a massive lesson.
Totally.
And that's and so for them to be able to discover that in you guys and water that, and then watch you grow, and just is really incredible.
Yeah, super valuable.
So you guys step in, you probably start doing, is this around high school or college when you guys really, you guys are doing bands and you're doing music every single weekend
Yeah. Probably around high school, because neither one of us went to college.
Yeah.
We're uneducated.
Yeah.
Well,
you learn on the job.
Yeah.
I devoted my time to guitar. That's all I'm going to devote my time to. Like
you went to the University of Harvest.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go to LA. At the time, it was called LAMA, LA Music Academy or something like that.
Yeah.
They changed it to, I think it's LA College of Music. Or something like that. I wanted to go really bad. And then my parents were like, why do you want to do that? Like, you should you're already doing what you want to do. And I think there are pros and cons to that. Like, I hold no negative feelings towards them, like kind of suggesting me not go.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's a little like, either way, I think it would have it clearly worked out fine.
Totally.
I think it would have also been beneficial in other ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's necessary to go to college, particularly for music.
Sure.
There
Yeah.
are probably others who may listen to this and they're like, "Excuse me."
Well, yeah. Right.
But yeah,
Ripping the headphones out.
Right. No, I mean, yeah,
Wanting their kids to hear
cancel
that.
my subscription.
but I mean, most musicians, like we just had Kara Britz on, a couple weeks ago, and she says her education came from playing with these bands. She's like 14 years old, and she's playing a gig at Harley Davidson with these like
Oh, wow.
50, 60-year-old dudes who are just old rockers.
Yeah.
And she's just like the girl like she's playing drums for them. That's what she was doing.
Wow.
And she said her education of music came from her family and just like playing with these people.
Yeah,
Dang.
on the job experience is the most valuable thing
Totally.
because it's you're doing what that was I think the heart behind my parents telling me like don't waste your time or money on something that you're currently doing right now. And yeah, that's the best place that you can find
It's
experience.
like, it's a language, It's like if you can go to school for Spanish or, whatever, but the most valuable thing would be to go to Mexico or to Spain
Totally.
and be with the people and,
Yeah.
and using it every day.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's how you learn the language the best. And that's what music is, the language. And it's like it's a universal language. I always think at playing at Steve Wilburn's church.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a day when we were playing in like,
Or Church LA.
yeah,
Shout out Steve.
we played there and two of the guys were from Japan
Wow.
and one guy didn't speak English. And so it was a lot of like trying to communicate, but then we'd get on stage and everything would flow.
Yeah.
And we'd like improvise together. And, like I'd play a line that he would also play at the same time.
Wow.
It's like
You guys are talking to
instinctively.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge, like mind-blowing moment. It's like we can't talk to each other like verbally, but like we're able to communicate effortlessly on stage, which is so cool. And it's like so unique to music or art maybe, like art just kind of transcends any human efforts to like try to quantify it or
Totally.
whatever.
It is this universal language that like wraps the globe and it impacts everybody. And it's amazing. Even if you hear an ancient song, like an ancient way of doing it, it's amazing how those notes and chords or that sound can like get to you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even though it's not my genre, like it's just like, why is that affecting me like so much? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that it's like embedded in ourselves, like.
Totally.
And I think I can't remember who we had on the podcast, but we were riffing on this, just like talking about. I love going to concerts. Like this is my favorite thing to do with Katie now. Like I'm just like, babe, we're getting we're going to the show.
Yeah.
Because there's just nothing like going to shows, man.
Yeah.
I feel young again. I think I'm still young.
You are.
No, thank you. Yeah, I feel young again, and again, it doesn't matter who's playing, and it doesn't matter. Even I can even abandon lyrics sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like when just the sound of the words coming out with the mixing of the music and the way it just affects me.
Yeah.
It's like I immediately am like worshiping. I'm just like, this all belongs to you, man. Like you made all of this. Like
Yeah.
the earth is the Lord's and the fullness of it. And it's like all this, I can't wait to hear him play, right? It's like he owns it all. He's made all the instruments, he's made all the sounds, he's made all the stuff. And it's like, it's amazing how it impacts humans. And it's beautiful when you guys have learned this language and you can, it doesn't matter if it's a crowd of 20 people that you're playing before and that person in the crowd's going through something and you're just playing and all of a sudden they're just like, they're being affected, or you're playing 50,000 people, and it's just like you're people are being impacted by this sound coming forth.
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, and to your point, Jake, you guys, you didn't just grow up in any church. It's to grow up in a church of 30 people or grow up in a church of 150 people with, the guy on the drums who just cannot get it right. He's the rocker, right? He's got the gloves on. He's got, he's got his tassels and he's like, bah, bah. He's going for it. And you're like, I was kind of going for something softer there. And like, I didn't want to do that breakdown, No, you get to step into the university of musicians that are like unbelievably high level. I mean, the skill level is insane. And so you're being trained in that environment, and then you step into these bands, and I don't know. Do you remember your first big moment of transition, I guess, where you're just like, I can't even believe I get to do this? I mean, so for people who don't know, Harvest has sat anywhere from like probably within the last 20, 25 years, 7,000 to probably like 20,000 people at different times. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the crowds, and then Pastor Greg obviously does Harvest Crusades, and we're talking stadiums and all the things. And these guys have been able to experience and stand on those stages and really experience a lot of it. But was there a moment when you're that really sticks out to you? You know, I think any time over the years, maybe even in the beginning, where all of a sudden you were playing and or leading, and you realize like, I want to do this the rest of my life. You know, I think this is part of what I want to do.
I think a big moment for me, I never planned on making music a career. Never thought it was possible. And my parents had no idea. Like they didn't know if that was possible. They would have supported it, but you know, I couldn't go to them and be like, is this a viable career? Like, I don't know. We like music. So I was actually wanting to be a graphic designer, and I was touring schools and going to go to college and do the thing. And like weirdly, every door I tried to open there, like slammed shut, whatever it was, random things like, oh yeah, community college doesn't have the classes I need. They're not going to offer them to me. I'd have to like take 2 years of video game design, which now looking back, I'm like, I should have just done that. But I was like, I want to do, graphic design and art. And they're like, well, we have a video game design class. Then went to the Art Institute, and that got shut down pretty quick. Did like interviews with graphic designers, and they were kind of like, some were really mean, some were just kind of like shut the door, and like whatever it was. It's like everything was just like hurdle. I couldn't do it. And then, Gabe again asked me to play at he was now at a different church as the worship pastor, and asked me to play there and offered to pay me money. And it was like, oh, so I can like make money doing this. And so he paid me to play over there, and I wasn't good enough to be paid at that point. It's funny, Bjorn, the bass player, we're like still really good friends, and he tells me, he's like, yeah, you were terrible. He's like, yeah, we used to like talk about it, how bad you were back then.
Oh, that's so mean.
I know.
Yeah.
But,
nevertheless, you were on the team.
But he'll also tell you to your face if he
Sure. Yeah, he's straight shooter.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's Dutch, so
Yeah.
very honest. So yeah, like he did that, and then I started getting asked to play other places. Was like learning how to actually play with the band and how to like improvise, and meanwhile I was in hardcore bands and playing in that band with Mary, and so then started getting paid to play outside of church, and then people wanted me to play with their bands or on their records, and it was like, oh, okay. So like all those doors closed, and now these are just like being thrown open, and music is like, I guess like what I'm destined to do, or what I'm being called to do, whatever it was.
Almost being funneled and like pushed in this direction, no doubt.
It was effortless.
Yeah.
I was like struggling so hard to do what I thought was what I was supposed to do, and then music was just like, oh, here's all the opportunities. You don't even have to like really work for them right now, and so that was just where that happened for me. And, I still do some graphic design stuff. I still love art. But yeah, music just happened. And it's, and
it continues to
sort
happen.
of divine thing.
No, for sure. No doubt. Yeah. I mean, you get on that path, and it's interesting to look back on the story and look back on life and see how you get to where you are today. And you're like, did I make those decisions, or did I fall into those decisions? It's like, why did that person show up at that time, at that moment? Why did that thing, hit me in that way at that moment? It's wild to watch the path I love that he is the author and finisher of our faith. Or he is the author. He's writing
Yeah.
the story and finisher, period, of the arc. And it's, it's wild to look at the details. This is like, surely I am picking up this cup right now.
Yeah.
And somehow he's, accomplishing his purpose in me, in the big picture.
Yeah. That's
It's
so
awesome.
cool.
And Mary, you, I felt like you had some lift. Is this probably around like 19, 20 years old or something when you felt like you really started to dig in? Obviously you were doing music that whole time, but where like it clicked in your mind, like I'm going to go for this.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't remember how old I was, but towards the end of high school, I started writing my own music, and I would just write, like I would just write at the piano, and I didn't have any, I had a laptop and I could go on GarageBand or something,
Sure.
but I didn't really have any desire to I just wanted to write, and I was just writing whatever was, coming to me. And then as I got a little bit older, like around 2021, I might have been younger. So maybe around like 18, 19, because we got married when I was 21. But so yeah, around like 18 or 19, we all, me, Jake, and Zach started like recording music together. And that was kind of like my first real like recording experience. Like I'd done a couple things here and there, like that band that I was saying that we were in together, Sunset Pilgrims. Like we recorded some stuff together. Like occasionally my dad would ask me to record some things. So I didn't have a lot of experience, but I would just like watch them. We were all figuring it out together.
You guys recording your own stuff?
Yeah, we were recording it together.
Pro Tools, GarageBand?
Logic.
Sweet.
And so we would, we would record together, and I mostly would just like be kind of like a creative, like suggestion box.
Yeah.
Because I was just watching them. I think at the time I was like a little timid to like take on like more of a producer role myself. Because I didn't really know anything. Like I didn't know how it worked, but they didn't really know anything either. So they're just
You're
kind of
just figuring it out on the spot, huh?
yeah.
Well, Mary is like a master of melodies
Yes.
and can just write a melody immediately, which is something that's like not natural to me at all. And she can just hear it and lay something down. So it'd be like Zach and I would make a track and then be like, hey, can you lay a melody down? And it's like instantly something really awesome. And so that was kind of our collaborative thing back then.
So yeah, and then I started, there was actually another, this is so funny. It all comes back to Raymond Gregory now that I think about it.
I call him Raimundo.
Yeah.
It's our Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Everything's connected.
Yes, so true. No, he was doing I was probably like 19 or so, 20, and he was doing a like Bible study every week at Harvest, or not every week, it was like every month, and he would have it was kind of like a bigger production kind of a thing where he wanted to have like a band come and do like a 30-minute set or something, and it was like worship centric, but it didn't have to be worship music. So he encouraged me, like, you should write some songs and I'll mix it for you, but like you should just try it out and produce it. And so after having watched Jake and Zach do this production work, I like got Logic for myself, and I just started working on like my MacBook Air.
Nice.
And I had like this teeny tiny, I still have it, it's like really small Akai MIDI keyboard, and I would just like take it with me and like use I also mentioned my dad's crusty NS10s. So I like set up like a little station in my room, and I was like writing my own music, and it was kind of like a just like trying my hand at producing stuff based on like what I had learned from watching them. And it was like my mind just was blown at like how fun it was, and how it was just like, I can't believe that you can just do this. That like, it kind of like, I mean, I've always been a huge music lover, obviously.
Yeah.
It's my career path, but like, it kind of like rekindled my love for music in a different way. That it was like, see my songs to completion. You know, like it's not just like a hobby. It's like this is an outpouring of my soul, and I can be proud of it. And so yeah, I made like an EP that's like listening back. I actually was just recently, I was driving with Zach, and we were like listening to that EP. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's so bad. There are so many elements of it. I'm like, I was like bright red, and he's like, oh my gosh, like this is so funny. And I was like, no.
Right.
But it was like, my first attempt at doing anything like that. And so that, I think that was kind of where my focus shifted from doing like, you know, cause I mean, I never really had like a plan. I never really had like goals necessarily. Of like, you know, one day I want to be, you know, like you know, I don't know. I didn't have any career path in mind. And especially kind of being steered away from college. I just didn't really have anything that I necessarily was like grabbing my attention. And so I think that when I started getting into production and writing my own music and just experimenting more with that and learning new stuff, I think that's where my focus shifted, and I realized that, you know, this can be something that I can do for the rest of my life. You know, maybe I won't necessarily make money doing it, and you know, to this day, my main source of income is, you know, singing at church and doing worship, and I love that.
Worship leader.
Yeah. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. I'm so grateful, and I know that is something that's not normal, you know, so I know that I'm really blessed in that. But writing the music and like writing with other people and collaborating is like, that's where my heart is, you know, and so just every day I just keep working harder and harder towards that. And I would love to make that something that we can, and we write a lot together, Jake and I, you know, so I think that's like my ultimate goal. Yeah. Like my ultimate dream in life is that we can support ourselves, not get like rich and famous. Sure. But like just support ourselves on the music that we create. Yeah. That's like my ultimate dream.
You guys are doing it. You're on your way. You're already doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's incredible. It's happening right now in real time.
It is, yeah.
And you're still young. So, you know, you got a lot of years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe to people, like young people, you know, who are trying to, it's funny because I got to hang out with some of the young musicians a little while back at Harvest, some of the younger musicians at Harvest. And it's funny because they're talking about Jake Garcia and Mary Garcia, Ives, you know, and talking about you guys like, I mean, you guys are the biggest rock stars in their mind.
That's
and
cute.
No, serious. And I'm like, oh yeah, Jake and Mary, yeah, I know. And they're like,
if only they knew.
No.
Dorks.
I love it, right? Because it's the same. It's that thing, you know. So they're trying to figure it out.
That's sweet.
Just like when you guys were trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, you figured some things out.
Yeah.
And you know, by the grace of God, you guys are doing well. But it's like there are a lot of young musicians, up and coming musicians, and people who really would like to, you know, get to where you guys are at, you know, and what you're up to and what you're doing, and maybe even some advice, you know, for young people trying to figure these things out.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, something that I've kind of made like a part of my, I don't know, daily thinking, I suppose, is it's actually not even, it's a quote from David Bowie. And he said that if you ever find yourself in, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically, like, if you ever find yourself in your comfort zone, take one step out, because you should never be in your comfort zone, basically, as an artist or like as a creative person in music. It's good. And yeah, I think that that's really, really great advice, because I found that in my life, worship and music, and it was all just like, it was a path laid out that was very easy to come by for me personally, just because like I have a natural inclination to music. And then, this trajectory from my dad, it was a very natural path for me to take. And so I have found later in life that I get frustrated really easily when things don't come easily to me.
Sure.
And I can get bitter about that, and I can get down on myself for, like, why can't I, I'm trying to learn something, or I'm trying to, push myself to do something, get out of my comfort zone. And it's obviously not easy, because
Right.
nothing is easy,
Totally.
I mean, sure, you have natural giftings or inclinations or whatever, but like, nothing good comes easy. And so I think that the earlier that you can start pushing yourself, I think the better, because then you set yourself up for challenges later in life, that like, I mean, I kind of think that advice from David Bowie is like, that could be not just about music, it could be about anything.
Totally.
If you're in your comfort zone, like in your relationship with your spouse,
Sure.
then you got to take a step out, because that's where things, that's where it deteriorates, is when you get comfortable. And like, you should always be pushing yourself to take it one step further. It could be your relationship with the Lord.
Yes.
It could be anything. And so I think that the younger that you can start just like pushing yourself to learn new skills, to get outside of your bubble, to like listen to all kinds of music and get, inspired and educated, I think that is like, that would be a huge win. And I wish that I would have pushed myself earlier to like get into production. I wish that I would have pushed myself earlier to listen to new kinds of music, to,
Totally.
just that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Started early.
Yeah. There's this fear, right? There's this fear of like auditioning for that thing, or stepping out. I got to learn this software, or I'm going to go explore this type of music. I'm going to learn these new chords. I'm going to learn this new style. It all takes work, and it's all risk.
Totally.
And it's all, there's a little bit of fear sitting there, but you never know. You never know what's on the other side until you step out into the unknown. Yeah.
And like, and being okay with failing in the process.
Totally.
Because like,
It's part of the process.
I think it's easier to accept failing and, like tripping, stumbling when you're younger. I think it hurts more when you get older. Because literally tripping and stumbling physically
Sure, totally.
definitely hurts more when you get older, because, you don't heal as much.
Yeah.
But, or as quickly, I should say. But yeah, like I don't know, I feel like there's just that vigor of youth that like, you're okay with messing up, and because hopefully you have a support system surrounding you, like, like I did with my parents,
Totally.
my family, just like supporting me, like, keep going, keep trying, like, we love you no matter what you do. It's easier to fail when you're younger and
Totally.
then just get back up.
Yes.
So like, nothing is going to come easy, but just try when you're young.
Yes.
That would be my advice.
You got less to lose.
Yeah.
The older you get, the harder it is to risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake, any advice, for young guys, trying to figure it out in the industry, or
Don't do homework. Kidding. Yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if like, that there's kind of this whole industry now of like church musicians that exists, which is kind of hilarious to me. But like, to where that's the thing that you aspire for.
Right. Oh, wow.
Where, when I was learning, it was like, I want to be that rock star over there.
Sure.
And I'm going to learn how to do that playing at church,
Right.
and like volunteering here.
Right.
And now it's like, I want to be that worship guitar player. I want to be that church has the best guitar player.
Sure.
And so it's like this whole industry thing now, which is so weird, and like companies market towards
Wow.
that. So bizarre.
Yeah.
But so I like, it is like church is valuable, and like, I think that there's no better place to learn. So if you're playing at church 100%, like, do that as much as you can. Play with people who are better than you, like, just learn from everyone around you. I think is the biggest advice, just like watching guys like Hans, watching guys like Tim Ninehouse,
Tim Nine. Yes.
Yeah. And, playing like with you guys, like at the Well, like was that was like, whoa, I like made it. Like I'm like with the cool guys.
Those are fun days, man. We had so much fun.
It's so funny. That was like, yeah,
That was a wild time.
like the high school ministry, like those days when you were, I think you'd just come back from Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
You looked like Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I don't know if this is like a good quality to have in like a youth ministry, but it definitely pushed me to like be part of it. Was like, oh, like that group of guys is cool. And like I want to like get to that to where I can be a part of that group of guys. Like you and the Summers boys and like the indie band like Daydream boys.
Yeah.
So like there was like
Brian Willett and Kevin and all those dudes. Yeah. I just sent Stefan shout out. Stefan, we text back and forth sometimes. I just sent him a video. Brian Willett, can I say this? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Let me Brian here. It's so funny. There's a video of them doing hardcore dancing in the green room while the worship music's going on out there. I'm filming the whole thing. We're laughing so hard. Like these dudes are just going wild in the green.
So awesome.
Right? Green room vibes, right? All this stuff. Anyway, sorry, Jake.
No, see that kind of stuff. I was like, I want to be there with those guys. So there was like an effort to try it. Okay, now Gabe asked me to play high school ministry. Now I'm gonna like push for this thing, and like, oh, the well band is really cool. So like I want to push to like be part of that, and I did, and like I got to know you guys, and I like it's hard to see your progress like as it's happening. But then like when you take a step back and look back, like I've been touring with Phil Wickham for the past 2 years.
It's amazing.
Which is amazing. But like, I've been doing music professionally so long that it's like, I've played gigs and I've done these things and it's just like I'm working and I'm, grinding, whatever. And I just recently, I'm talking to Mary about it. Like I look back, if my 14-year-old self was here and I was like, oh yeah, like you're going to be playing with Phil Wickham and touring with him. Like my 14-year-old self would lose it.
Right.
It's like the ultimate goal.
Totally.
And now like, you get older and you like do something for so long that you kind of lose that love.
Yeah.
And so like it takes stepping back and like thinking of like where you were 10 years ago, whatever, 15 years ago.
It's really good.
And it's like, oh, I would have been so pumped to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Totally.
And I just couldn't see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I had my head down, like just working so hard that I wasn't able to see like, oh, I did the things that I was trying to do back then.
Totally.
I achieved the goals that I was trying to get to.
Yes.
But I was too busy, like, in whatever, wrapping my head around life and trying to figure things out that like I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize I did it.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like it's been a whirlwind of things, in the past few years for everybody. Just like COVID and like where do I fit into this whole thing and like do I love music still?
Right.
When you're alone and you don't have music, you're like, oh, did I like actually love that?
Right.
So
yeah. No, it's it's been a wild ride, and it's so good, such good advice, to step back at certain moments and just realize and to enjoy it, and just enjoy whatever's going on. And it's something I've been reflecting on in my own life as well. I always, there's that discontentment, always like I need something else, and something else comes to me then finally, but it's like, it's true. You work so hard for something, you finally achieve it. You get to the place and it's like, that is such a great, to remember where you came from.
Yeah.
To go back and say like, no, that little guy like would have been stoked to just like stand on this stage and just like, are you kidding me? Like this is happening right now. Like I can't believe this worked out. And it's hard to see. I don't know. It's hard to enjoy, what's right in front of you. There's this picture that I've been reflecting on like nonstop since I said it. But when I we've done 10 years. It'll be 10 years here in end of September in LA with the church and everything. And I was coming up on the 9 year, and I felt really discontent. I was kind of like bummed, just like, because whatever, I didn't reach my expectations and goals and all the we come out of harvest, so it's like I want all this, stuff to be happening. But it's like I had to step back and just see like, yeah, but it's working, like it's right in front of you. And this picture is this guy, his name's Ali Afed, and he basically he was a wealthy man who had a farm, and it had a little river that ran through the backyard, and he would take his camels down there, and they would drink, and the animals would drink in the river. Anyways, this diamond miner comes along and says, hey, if you want to go search for diamonds, we'll become super rich and wealthy, and he's like, okay. He's like, I'm just going to sell my farm. I'll take all the cash. We'll go figure it out. So they go around the world trying to find diamond mines, and he burns up all of his cash. And it's a true story. The guy is so depressed and down, he takes his own life because he lost all of his money. Well, lo and behold, the guy who purchased the property from him, purchased his farm. One day, the animals are down in the river, and all of a sudden there's a flash of light in the river, and he looks down and grabs it, and it's a diamond sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
And it ends up being the biggest, it's the diamond mine of Golconda. It's like one of the biggest diamond mines in the world was in his backyard.
Whoa.
So he basically gave up what was right in front of him because he believed there were more diamonds out there, but the diamonds are actually right in front of him, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like I've been reflecting on this picture so much in my life because, dude, I got diamonds. Like they're all right here, right?
Yeah, so true.
And it's hard to see the diamonds sometimes, but enjoying what is right in front of us, enjoying the process. And I like you said that, Jake. It's like, do I still really love music? Because I even, I'm a pastor, and I've been doing this ministry thing for a really long time. But sometimes you can even ask that question: do I love the ministry? Do I love the people? Do I love this work? Do I love preaching? Am I okay? And because there's ups and downs. There's different seasons of this, right? There's these really high moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then there's others just like, get me out of here, like I don't want to do this anymore,
Yeah.
And so, and it's not easy, but yeah, Jake, like your consistency and you're continuing to just chip away. It's incredible what consistency, and again, maybe going back to that stubbornness, in your room, just like for 4 years getting after it, has kind of like propelled you continually. So I project that the stubbornness will continue to propel you, like to who knows where,
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You guys brought a guitar.
We did.
Would you play a song for us? You want to do some music?
We could.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would do. We didn't actually practice anything.
Oh, I love it even better. Yes, I actually love it even better. We should do something. What do you think? Not me, but you guys.
Do you
Want to grab a guitar?
Do you want
no,
jam?
I will watch you. I'll snap,
Do you want us to do like a worship song?
Do whatever you want, Mary. You want to do an original? You want to do Hibiscus? You want to do whatever you want, Jake.
I could. Do you know how to play it?
You want to? What's something that you love to play? Yeah, whatever you want.
Oh gosh. Well, it's like default worship songs.
Sure.
We
You
don't know how to do anything.
I know we didn't know. We're like, is this does he want worship songs or like?
You can do whatever you want. You want to do a Led Zeppelin song? Let's go. Like we're like we'll do whatever you want. You want to do Freebird?
Just watch me play Zeppelin.
We're just watching.
6 hours of just me riffing.
Did you know that we will be here until 8 p.m.?
I love it.
He's like, hold on, I got one more.
Dave's like zooming on his guitar. I love it. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, whatever you guys want to do, we could do something.
Yeah.
And we can.
We could also do Hibiscus. It's only 4 chords the whole time. Careful of your headphones.
You want to do one of each? I don't know. You want to do one of?
Sure.
Yeah, you could do that.
Sure.
We could do original, and then you could do a worship song and do that too.
Let's do it. Well, this song is called Hibiscus, and I released it earlier this year. And I wrote it about Jake. That it's kind of like all the shows, like Marvel shows and stuff that talk about multiverse. I thought it was kind of a fun concept to think about, finding your soulmate in any kind of universe, whether you're like, in this one or like in an alternate universe, you're like a tree and then you're like planted next to another tree. And it's like, oh, it's my soulmate.
Totally. I love it.
So yeah, it's just kind of it's a love song about Jake. So yeah, it's called
Let's
Hibiscus.
hear it.
Can we count it in?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hibiscus fighting off physics, baby, your lips are flowers. Oh my God, drinking down ice, I cut my teeth on your power. I blink my eyes for what sort you are, the sign between the lines. You are the breadth and height. I do it twice, I'd be yours another time, in a circle of death and life. Swimming depths of flying high, fruiting blossoms on the vine. Any version with you is fine. My tether armored in leather, fending off wolves at night. Light weaver, you're my cold leader, beacon of my fight. Only, babe, my only babe. I do it twice, I'd be yours another time, in a circle of death and life. Swimming depths of flying high, fruiting blossoms on the vine. Any version with you is fine. I do it twice, I'd be yours another time, in a circle of death and life. Swimming depths of flying high, fruiting blossoms on the vine. Any version with you is fine. Oh.
So good.
Thanks.
Dude, that sounded really good.
Thanks.
It came through so nice.
Oh, good.
Incredible.
We didn't even practice. Good job.
Beautiful. And this is, they can check that out right now on Spotify, right?
Yes.
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 All platforms.
All the platforms.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
And all totally produced by Mary.
Oh,
Really?
Yes.
Incredible.
Digital.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was productive over COVID.
Yeah.
Yes.
I learned new things.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah.
And do you want to share a worship song?
Would love to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What should we do? Maybe Goodness of God or something? A classic?
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah, absolutely.
A classic.
I love that song.
What key?
Let's do G.
The classic.
Yes.
Sounds good. Guitar sounds great.
Right on. Okay. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. In all my days, I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, my with every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Love your voice. You have led me through the fires, and in darkest nights you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend. Yes, I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. Yeah. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of my God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes. Dude, so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you that I don't know, when I'm listening to you guys play and sing, I'm just like, well, praise God. I'm so happy that we have you on the team. But like, I don't know, we need more of that.
Yeah.
You need more of that. You need more. Again, even there's just something special about you guys. You just banging on the guitar and you're just throwing from your seat, and it's just like no production. We're just capturing what's in the room, and there's something so special about that stuff. And I think maybe a lot of the generation is like screaming for a lot more of that.
Yeah.
A lot more of real intimate, authentic.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing it. I wanted to ask you this question, Mary, though. Do you remember when the lights turned on and you realized like, oh wow, like I can sing, but like not only I can sing, but like maybe there's a little extra. I got a little extra, sparkle dust on my voice or something. You know what I mean? Like there had to be a moment where you're just like, wow, why do I get this little extra, thing? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
or did you just never dawned on you because you're like, it's just always been there?
I mean, my dad tells me that I was like singing when I was, like a toddler, and he told me that, I would like sing in the car or whatever, and he said that he and my mom figured that there could be a future for me, like in music or singing or something. When I was like 4 or 5, I was like harmonizing with stuff just on my own, just kind of. And I'm a terrible teacher. Like people have asked me, you know, like, can you teach me how to sing or like teach me how to do harmony? And I'm horrible. I'm a horrible teacher because I've just never really. I don't know, like I don't want to sound like douchey or anything, but like it comes really naturally to me.
Yeah,
you know?
No, I get it.
So
But that's the thing. That's the magic.
Yeah,
right, Jake?
Yeah, I
that's the magic.
So I don't know, but I do know I am never I would be remiss to never, you know, like mention that when people, you know, they say really kind things or whenever they you know, give me really nice compliments or something like that, it means so much to me because it is so natural for me. I think that sometimes I forget that you know, like I think that music is so special especially the music that we're involved in, whether like us personally that we're involved in, whether it's, you know, playing my own songs or playing, you know, like in doing like the sideman thing, playing in other people's bands or and then on top of that doing worship, you know, for the Lord, like it is such an expressive way to it's kind of like my diary or like my journal, you know, like, and you don't even have to be singing the words that go along with what you're feeling. It's just the music itself. And so when people say really nice things to me or about me or whatever, like I'm so grateful, and it, like, I never want to take that for granted, that like it's just, I'm just being myself, and like I'm just trying to do my best to, you know, help people and also to point them to the Lord, like when I'm leading worship.
Yes.
That's like, I never want to take that for granted, that I'm like, oh my gosh, this means a lot to people, and I get to be a part of that. It's like, it's very humbling. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know, maybe that's a dumb answer, but
well, that's what makes it 10 times better, right? Because just like, you know, you're like, I'm just being me. Yeah. And that's the best part about it, you know. I try. And no, I've heard a lot of musicians. You know, we did Sunday nights for a long time. We got in day 7, and the band's coming through, and all the great singers and song and all the things. And you know, I'm not, and worship leaders too. I'm just not just saying this. You have something extra. I don't know what that is, but you have the thing. No, you really do. You have it, and it's that soulful place in your voice that's very hard to find, and that tone. There's something on the rounded edges of your words that like it grabs the heart. You know, it can really grab the heart of a person. So it's a superpower. You got to use it.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
And you can move rooms with it. You can move people very quickly, and that's the power of music. And and it's really cool. You know, you guys do it, you know, to write music, you know, for yourselves and to bless people with that. And you do it for the church too. Very cool. But yeah, I'm stoked to be able to enjoy a little bit of it.
Oh, thanks.
What do you guys got coming up? What are you guys working on? You got songs in the can. You got, band stuff going on. You got gigs.
Yeah, no gigs for the foreseeable future, but I am working on some new music, and I'm aiming to put out another single in maybe the next couple months. And
awesome.
The challenge of producing everything myself is that I am my own worst critic.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a little like, you know, I'm going to release something in, you know, like a month from now, whatever. And then it's like 3 months go by and you're like, I never did it. So, cause I'm always kind of tinkering. Sure. But I've got some new music on the way, a new single, and then I have some other songs that I'd like to. The following thing I'd like to do is release another EP. I have an album out that I put out. I actually just like was doing some like housekeeping on some of my Spotify profile and stuff like that, and I saw that I released my album 2 years ago, and I was like, like I think it's time for something else. So time to stop being a critic and just put it out. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Dude, the hard drives, man. I mean, the musicians, they got hard drives.
It's a graveyard.
Oh, dude, we need to release this stuff.
I know.
Who just did that? Drake just do that? Didn't he just put his hard drive up online or something, and everybody could just dig into his stuff?
Yeah.
I think there's like thousands of stuff, like
I'm sure.
pieces, and they're just like digging into all of his stuff because he's just like, he doesn't need anything else, so he's just like, I don't know, here it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like, who knows what secret gold and gems and diamonds you guys got in your archives. It's just like, just send it, man.
I know.
Just send it.
Yeah.
I know, and those demos are probably like, those are the gold.
Totally.
Like, just release that.
No, they are, because like that's kind of the fun stuff sometimes. Like,
yeah. Sometimes you wreck the sauce.
Exactly. No joke. We one luxury. So I grew up in the Pro Tool days when it was just out of reach for like a musician like myself. Just out of reach. Too expensive.
Yeah.
I can't get the mics, can't get the gear. And so
You have to know somebody.
And so we're literally using voice recorders, to like record things, because we don't have phones, we don't have any of that stuff that can do recording. So it's little voice recorders, and we would record stuff everywhere. And I got like piano riffs and stuff just everywhere, right, in this voice recorder, just wave. And no joke, we recorded this piece. We recorded Tracy Chapman's song "The Promise" when I was in Mexico. I was living there with John Corson. Me and the guys are in the bathroom, and we're banging on guitars and playing. And I'm telling you, this recording, the reverb, like in the bathroom, and the way it just pulled in, is like one of the coolest like recordings
That's awesome.
I have. And it was just a cover, and we were just goofing off, but it like came out. It's so good.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like I just know that there's so much stuff laying around. I mean, that's the cool thing, I guess. It's like, now it's become so accessible. You can literally record a song on your phone if you want to right now. Pretty high quality, right? Jake was just saying earlier, just like, the microphone out thing's amazing, but I'm sure that you guys got amazing stuff sitting around, and I would just send as much out as you can. Just send it, see what sticks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Heck yeah, totally. The only way to know is to get it out. And it's currently just in a folder.
Because you're still young.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like 47 and I'm like sending it out. It's just like not as cool.
Oh no.
Like seriously though, like that's the thing. Like you have this young pocket window where it's like the stuff that you create is like now, and it's a part of culture and all of the rest. And you're up with like so much. As you grow older, you lose touch with so many things, and it's just
Don't sell yourself short.
No, seriously.
Gosh.
No, seriously.
Anyone can do it.
Oh.
My dad actually, for example, my dad is turning 66 this year.
Hans is Yoda. Hans is Yoda, though. I mean,
Well,
he's kind of.
But he recently, so we have a mutual friend who his main like bread and butter is lo-fi music. He makes lo-fi music, and it'll go on playlists and stuff, and he actually like makes really decent money doing that. So we've been like kind of tinkering around with some lo-fi music, and my dad actually just kind of unprompted on his own was like, I want to make like lo-fi music, and which I feel like is it's generally like the genre of the youth, and because it's like it's just mostly instrumentals, and it's very it's exactly what it is. It's lo-fi. And he's been like making these really beautiful instrumental tracks and like really cool. And I maybe I'm biased, but like I've always been a fan of my dad's music. But I will say that like it's really cool to watch him do his own production work and like write stuff that we also are all three of us are involved with another friend of ours where we write like sync music for like licensing and stuff. And my dad is a part of that as well. And so he's just, he's going off doing like these genres that I never would have imagined him to do.
Wow.
And so I say all of that to say that don't sell yourself short.
Hey, I receive it.
You can literally do anything. You can do whatever you want.
Are you telling me to send that just release that Tracy Chapman Promise cover back in 20 years ago?
Yes, I think you should.
That'd be funny.
Someone somewhere. Hey, you know what? Like I think that maybe another hearkening back to earlier in the conversation, another piece of advice that I would give to somebody younger is that even if your metrics of success look different than others, I think the most success that you can ever have is just like making someone's day, and like if you released that, I guarantee someone somewhere, if not just for yourself, would love what they hear. So you know what?
I receive it.
You might make someone's day.
Hey,
If you can make someone happy, I think you're living a pretty good life.
it'll be an incognito, Spotify account, just gonna launch it and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Come up with like a fake name.
Yes.
A pseudonym.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. Who's stopping you?
Yeah.
Yourself. I'm kind of preaching to the choir right now.
It's true. I receive it.
Become like an intervention
I
for
receive
you.
it. Yeah. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm releasing everything.
Yeah, do it.
Here's all the reasons why you should release your music, Josh.
Yes. I'm on it. No, I am. I'm trying to get all the instruments together at the house. I got stuff just laying everywhere because I'm stoked about the kids, picking up stuff.
Yeah.
I got 6, 3, and 1, and they're just just barely stepping in. So that's a new fun adventure.
Awesome.
I'm excited about.
I love that.
So you guys got new releases coming.
Yeah.
And Jake, anything to talk about? Share anything coming up in the future? Just working on more music.
Yeah, got some touring. Touring with Phil later this year.
Awesome.
Doing some Christmas stuff and
Very cool.
but yeah, most everything that she does, I'm right there.
Awesome.
We're a team.
And where can people find you guys if they want to connect, if they like to find your music online or connect with you on any social media accounts?
Yeah. At Mary Ives, Ives. And then my artist name, music, is under Mary Ives as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And just at Jakob Thomas
With a K.
with a K,
With a K, Jakob Thomas with a
which
K.
is a lie. Like, put it out there. That's not my real name. I changed it to a K
I love it.
because I thought I loved Jacob Dylan,
Yeah.
Wallflowers.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's how you should have spelled it, Mom and Dad. So I switched.
You changed it
Yeah.
just like that.
But my middle name is Thomas.
Got
That's
it.
real.
So it is real.
Yeah.
Okay, Jakob Thomas, Mary Ives. You can find them on social media platforms. And you can go listen to all the music right now on all platforms.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Love
Love
you,
you too.
Josh.
Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks
So
for having
happy.
us.
This has been a blast, and I'm really looking forward to all the stuff you guys will do in the future. I know the Lord's going to bless you guys. I know He's going to continue. You guys have already done incredible stuff. I project the next 10 years is just going to be that much better. So
Thank you.
cheers to you guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
You're welcome. Let's get some lunch.
Woo!
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show today. We really appreciate you. And it would mean the world to us if you would like or subscribe and you would write an honest review for us. It's one of the fastest ways to get the word out for us and to share it with others. And so if you don't like texting for a review, you can always voice to text. That's a fast way to write one and really help us rate the show and get it out to the world. Thank you so much for listening again. We hope it continues to bless you and encourage you each and every week. And of course, leave you stoked.